Andy, thank you very much for joining me. I imagine you're quite busy at the moment. How are you doing?
I'm good, Gary. Yeah, slightly busier week than normal, but looking forward to the game.
I'm a footballer who's interested in politics, and you're a politician who's interested in football. So a little chat on both, if we may. But we'll start with the football. Just under 4 weeks ago, England beat Croatia 4-2. You won a by-election in Makerfield. Now England are in the semi-finals of the World Cup and you're about to be Prime Minister. Could you have envisaged it happening that quickly a few weeks ago?
No, I don't think so, Gary. These two things have been running in parallel. I look at the world and it's changed quite a lot in a short space of time, but England's progress has been keeping me occupied, if you like, through all the ups and downs of the last few weeks from my point of view. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's hopefully a good time for the country. I think England, there's more positivity and belief around England, I think, than any time I can remember. I know Gareth did a great job, but it does feel maybe, I don't want to jinx it here, but it does feel as though there is just that little bit extra there, and let's hope it comes through.
Yeah, let's hope so. What are you more nervous about, entering number 10? As Prime Minister or watching England in the World Cup semi-final?
I think they're on a par. They put you through the mill, don't they? You know, it's funny, who am I to tell you about tournament football? But we've had 2 games now where I think the Mexico game was an amazing performance, wasn't it? But we've not necessarily kind of gone out there and taken the game to them. So maybe in tournaments you do then get a change, don't you? And a different England might turn up tonight. So I hope that's the case. But yeah, no, I've got nerves jangling all round at the moment. Gary, is the honest answer.
I know you're a genuine football fan, Everton football fan. How did that come about?
I didn't have any choice in the matter whatsoever. I was born in Liverpool. People may know that. Mum's family, dad's family, Everton, all the way back, pretty much to the start of the club. So, my earliest memories are Goodison Park in the mist and the rain and watching Gordon Lee teams of the 1970s. It's been my life. Watching you, I might say, in my teenage years, and they were great times. I've got a question. Am I allowed to ask you a question on this?
Of course podcast? You are. Of course you are.
So was that season, 85, 86, your best ever season as a footballer?
I think it probably was. Certainly that year, 86, I think, so many things happened with the World Cup as well. But that Everton team in the mid-80s was the best team I ever played for.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
I mean, because of what happened in the World Cup, and then I was off to Barcelona, and a lot of the Everton fans never forgave me, even though it was actually the club's decision, not mine.
Yeah, I might have been one of those at the time, Gary. But I mean, the thing was, though, you remember Mexico 86, England had a few enforced departures, didn't we? I think, did Brian Robson injure his shoulder and Wilkins got sent off? And it was just fascinating when the core of that Everton team came together in that Poland game, wasn't it? With Reedy in the middle and Gary Stevens, Trevor Steven. Yeah. That game is a vivid memory for me.
Yeah, that was against Poland, obviously. That little hat-trick I don't like to mention too often. but looking at this game against Argentina, obviously the two countries have a lot of history, but it's always something special when England play Argentina. It's been a while since we actually played them in a World Cup. But you've already seen some of the questions being raised to the Argentinian players, and, you know, they talk about Las Malvinas, the Falklands, etc. So it's sort of more than a football match in some ways.
Well, it goes back to 86, doesn't it? And was the last time we played them, I'm trying to remember now, it was 2002, was it?
2002, we played in the group stage.
Yeah. So I don't think this is an Argentina team to fear. They're good, obviously, and they've got the best player in the world in their ranks, although, you know, a bit advanced now in his years. So what it will be is a test on every single level. It will be, won't it? It will be more than a normal game. But I'll go back to what I said at the start. I do feel this England team has a little bit extra. They seem to be able to dig that little bit deeper. So we'll see, won't we? But I'm sure they're ready to be tested in every department.
If they get to the final, Andy, will you go? Will you come out?
Well, I've got a big day the next day, Gary, and I don't think being sort of, a bit jaded on Monday the 20th is going to be a great idea from my point of view. No, I'll be here. I'll be watching it. If we get there at home, I'll be watching it. Keir will be there representing us.
And also, by the time, if England win this competition, a little bank holiday for everyone, possibly. Are we getting ahead of ourselves?
We might be getting ahead of ourselves. And if I were to just answer your question off the bat here, that might jinx it even further. So, well, it would be nice, wouldn't it, if we were in that position to make that decision.
It would be better than nice. It would be better than nice.
It would be better than nice. It would be some week, wouldn't it?
It would be the best thing ever. Yeah. You've done a lot of things around football, Andy, and I know that actually today's quite an important day, isn't it? Because of the Hillsborough Law.
Yeah. It's a big moment in the Commons because the bill that I originally introduced after the second Hillsborough inquest, the Public Authority Accountability Bill, was made a government bill by Keir Starmer, and he made a commitment to the families, and he will be honouring that commitment today. He and I actually worked on the original bill together, so to be in the House to thank him for that, and actually, Gary, to do something that really fundamentally rebalances the scales of justice in this country, because that's what the bill does. It means we can never see what happened to the Hillsborough families happened again. You'll remember very well how they were blamed, the Liverpool supporters. It's unbelievable that there was a situation where an entire English city was crying injustice correctly for 20 years, and no one in the place that I'm speaking to you from was listening. They were just ignored. And it says something quite troubling, actually, I think, about the way the country has been run in the past. The Hillsborough Law seriously changes that. And it's the achievement of the Hillsborough families and everybody who supported them in the city of Liverpool and beyond.
I think everyone will pretty much agree with that. Looking at what can politics learn from football? I think we've seen at this World Cup in particular a real unity, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, of fans from all over the countries, Muslims and Christians and Jews and whether you're black or white or brown, everyone seems to have come together and rejoiced. Sometimes I think we're so divided by politicians, dare I say, at times as well, that it kind of renews your sense of humanity, that actually all we really want to do is get along together. How can you must look at it, we're a bit divided in our country at the moment. There's a lot of hate. What can you do to make a difference when you get in power?
I've been a critic of football over the years, Gary, on certain things, on the treatment of supporters at times, the treatment of Everton, dare I say, with the points deductions. VAR, I'm not a great fan, but there are some things that football gets very right indeed. Yeah. The approach to anti-racism over the years, if you go right back actually to when football first started campaigning against racism in the 80s, it's led the way actually from a societal point of view. And, I look at what Gareth did as England manager. I think he took that to the next level and made England feel like they were for everybody. And that sense is carrying forward now. So I do think there's a lot to learn for politicians. You achieve more, don't you, when there's a stronger sense of togetherness and positivity. And that's certainly there around England right now. And I think that's a really good thing. I mean, the other thing I would say as well is, football's good at, leaning into tradition and identity and then celebrating identity in a positive way. I think politics gets into trouble when it starts trying to steal other people's clothes, parties trying to be something that they're not, pandering. That's where I think things in politics go wrong. So yeah, football has its challenges, but it does get a lot right. And, we should really celebrate, I think, where England are today in terms of, how they're seen around the world, the quality of the football. And it's quite a joy to see. Let
me move on to perhaps more basic politics, Andy. When you go into number 10, first day, it's like I'll use a football analogy though, if I may, like a football manager going into a new club. and you want to make an immediate impact. For you on day one, what will that be?
We've got to give people a lift, haven't we? We've got to give people a stronger sense of hope and a feeling that the country's on the way back. It's not been the best decade. However people feel about the referendum, how they voted, politics has been in a really turbulent place. And, I've got to be conscious, Gary, that I will be the sixth person to come into the role in the last decade. And that says something is wrong with politics right now.
How can you fix that particular aspect of it, though, Andy? There's so many. I think you actually might be number 7 in 10 years. So, that's when you're going into a job like that. And why do you think it is that we're going through prime ministers so quickly? And what can you do to change that?
I think you're right, 7 in 10 years, but I'm the 6th to come into the role in the last decade.
Yeah.
So our politics has always been based on point scoring and, people trying to find differences rather than working together. But that, I think, has got worse in the post-Brexit social media era. Mm-hmm. And I think it's got to the point where we're just not finding solutions. We're not making the big changes that people want to see. It's in a pretty fragmented place. So I am going to try and do something different. I worked hard as Mayor of Greater Manchester to take a place-first approach, not a party-first approach. I think the public are crying out for a different approach to politics that's more about problem-solving rather than point-scoring. So I'm going to try to lay that out. The key thing, of course, is helping people with the cost of living. It's just got too hard. People are paying too much for the basic things in life. And we've got to find ways of taking that pressure off them. I heard on the doorsteps in Makerfield, oh, you know what, Andy, I can't go out for a few pints anymore. I can't take the kids out. I can't go on holiday. Some of the things that just brought that bit of extra joy to people's lives have kind of disappeared. And we just need to work, I think, to try and bring a bit of a lift to people, a greater sense of hope back, and a feeling that the country, if not everything being right now, is on a path to a better place. And I will do whatever I can. I'll give it my all to see if I can bring that about.
A lot of people are worried about inequality in the country. Cost of living is really difficult, as you've just mentioned. Economically, what can you do differently? A wealth tax, possibly, of the super rich, which is what a lot of people, economists, are calling for? I'm
going to obviously take my time to properly, look at the state of things, particularly the state of the finances. And I just said a moment ago, Gary, about bringing people together. I don't want to come in and sort of, if you like, create new divisions and pitch people one against another. I'm not going to rule things out right now. I do believe we need a greater sense of fairness and people feeling that things are being done in the right way and a fair way. But at the same time, I don't want to sort of be perceived as somebody who's coming in with grudges and agendas and, going to just immediately find or demonize one group or create a new way of dividing people. So, decisions to be taken in time, they're going to be difficult. I'm not going to shy away from that. We are going to have to work quite hard to make sure, we can pay our way. And at some point that might be having to ask for a little more. But, those decisions are not for now. They're for another day. Foreign policy is also important to a lot of people. And I've heard you talk about it yourself. And I think one of the reasons that the previous incumbent in Downing Street struggled was the way he dealt with the ongoing genocide, I think, in Gaza and what's happening in Lebanon as well. What's your thoughts on how you're going to cope with that and how you're going to deal with that situation? Well, I did address Gaza directly last week, and I recognise that Labour got it wrong. Obviously, the attacks of October the 7th were horrendous, but at the same time, I looked then at what happened in the aftermath and has carried on happening, and it's possible to criticise both things rather than just pick a side. So I said, in my view, it was wrong for the suggestion to be made that essential supplies could be closed off it was an impression given, and but sometimes in politics, when those impressions land with people, they can cause real hurt. And I took the moment to say that was something that I should acknowledge was wrong and apologise for, which I did. And I think, as you said in your question, I have real concerns about, the destruction of Gaza and, the disproportionate nature of that. So, from my point of view, I, will always try and call it as I see it in the fairest way that I possibly can. I won't shy away from saying those things. I did call for a ceasefire very, very early on. And I think, again, Labour was late to do that. It's a fast-moving world now. And what I've kind of found increasingly in my political career is, people have to take clear positions quickly. And that's the way the world is right now. And I will do my best in this job to do that. But I recognise in this particular instance, we do have to reflect on where we didn't get it right in the past.
I know you're very busy, particularly today. So I've got two more questions, one difficult, one very easy. Firstly, obviously, our relationship with America is hugely important. How are you going to deal with Donald Trump?
Maybe in a similar way to the way I've just described. I'll just meet him where he's at. And, I like to think I've got some personality myself, and I'll just, I'll deal with him very upfront in the same way. I think he likes people to deal with him. He described Manchester as some town when he was referring to my position, and I might have to. You know what Manx are like, Gary. That won't have gone down fantastically well in the city I used to represent.
Have you spoken to him yet at all?
No, not yet. So that will come in the next few days. But yeah, it's about being yourself, isn't it? It's about respecting the office, the relationship, the UK-US relationship. But, where you disagree, do it, but do it in a way that is kind of meeting him where he's at.
I sense it'll be a bit of a challenge. Be a challenge for anyone. Final question. Are England going to win the World Cup?
Now this is a hard one, because I've got all of that Evertonian pessimism seeped into my bones, and
that's just football pessimism. That is, Andy.
I know, but we feel it. We have it.
It's the hope that kills you.
It's a syndrome that we experience that little bit more than others. I think we can do it. Yes, right. So hang on, let me get myself in positive mode now. And this is the mode I'm going into my new job. Throw yourself into it, believe, and let's get things done. And yeah, I think they can do it. I can see the belief in the team. I've not been able to say this yet, but I'm going to say, do you think coming out of this tournament, Gary, Jordan Pickford might finally be recognised as one of England's all-time finest goalkeepers, if not the best? I think he is actually the best, and I think he deserves that. But, for me, he shows it. Obviously, Harry Kane shows it. John Stone's been brilliant. There's a belief there that in the past, you sometimes, when England went one down and you kind of saw their heads go and you thought, I don't see that now. So, yeah, I'll answer your question. We can definitely do it. Will we do it? Why not?
Well, hopefully it will be England's number 10, dare I say, that will do it. We shall see. Right. We shall see. Andy, thanks you very much for your time. And
thank you, Gary.
Good luck with the Premiership.
Thank you.